Where do we draw the line? Whose rights are more important? It's a tough question.
And with immigration, it's kind of similar, right? We're trying to balance people's individual right to move freely to look for a better life with the need to keep our country safe and secure and to protect our national identity.
Exactly. It's not easy. There are no simple answers. It takes careful thought, open communication, and a willingness to compromise on all sides.
So where do we even go from here? How can we start to address these issues in a way that actually makes a difference? It feels like everyone's just yelling at each other these days. Nobody's really listening.
Well, I think the first step is to admit that there are no easy answers. We have to be okay with things being messy and complicated.
So it's not about winning the argument. It's more about having a real conversation, even when it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. We need to listen to each other with the goal of understanding, not just to come up with a comeback. We need to look for different perspectives, even the ones that challenge our own beliefs. It's about trying to see where the other person is coming from, not just writing them off as wrong.
That's hard, though, especially these days. It's so easy to just stay in our own little bubbles where everyone agrees with us.
It does take courage, but it's so important if we actually want to make progress. We have to move past all the yelling and create a society where different people can coexist and work together.
So it's not about silencing people who disagree with us. It's about finding a way to have a productive conversation.
Right. We need to shift our focus from winning to understanding. And that takes humility, compassion, and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've looked at the arguments, the history, the big themes at play. What's standing out to you? What's really hitting home for you personally?
You know what I'm realizing? These issues aren't just some abstract political debate. They're about things that are deeply human. We're talking about freedom, dignity, autonomy, belonging. These are things that matter to all of us on a really personal level.
You're so right.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the policy details and forget that we're talking about real people with real lives and real dreams.
And that's why we have to approach these conversations with kindness and respect. Even when we totally disagree with someone, we might have different views, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
That's a great point to remember. As we head into the last part of our deep dive, let's keep that in mind.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, it's our shared humanity that's going to guide us toward a better future, a future where everyone feels valued and respected and we all have a chance to thrive.
All right, so we've really gone deep on abortion and immigration, huh? We've looked at the arguments, the history, the power dynamics, all the things.
We've heard from people on both sides,
Yeah.
And we even glimpsed a little bit of common ground, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But now it's like, what does all of this actually mean for us? Like for everyday people who are trying to figure out where they stand on these issues.
It's the million-dollar question, right? How do we take all this knowledge and turn it into something real, something that actually makes a difference?
Because honestly, it feels like these issues are designed to tear us apart, to turn us against each other. Is there any hope for finding some kind of unity?
I think there is. I mean, even in the middle of all this disagreement, there are these little glimmers of common ground. Like, remember Sarah and Mark from the podcast? They had totally opposite views on abortion, but they both agreed that we need to do something about unwanted pregnancies.
Yeah, Sarah was all about better sex education, and Mark was talking about more support for pregnant women. It's not about choosing sides. It's about finding those areas where we can actually work together.
Exactly. And we saw the same thing with immigration. Maria, the immigrant rights advocate, and John, the former Border Patrol officer, they definitely didn't agree on everything, but they both thought the legal immigration process could be a lot better.
So even though they disagree on some things, they can at least agree that the system's broken, right?
Right. And that's a start. It shows that maybe, just maybe, we can find some real solutions that work for everyone.
Okay. That gives me a little bit of hope. But it sounds like we need to change the way we approach these conversations.
Absolutely. We need to actually listen to each other, not just wait for our turn to talk or try to prove the other person wrong. It's about trying to understand where they're coming from, even if we don't agree with them.
But that's so hard. It's like we're all stuck in our own little echo chambers these days, especially with social media.
It's true. But if we want to get anywhere, we have to break out of those bubbles. We have to be willing to hear things that make us uncomfortable.
And remember that we're all human beings at the end of the day, right? We're all in this together.
Exactly. We might have different opinions, but we're all Americans. We all want what's best for our country.
So what can we do? Like, what are some practical steps we can take to make a difference? It feels so overwhelming sometimes.
Well, first of all, we have to educate ourselves. Make sure you're getting your information from good sources, not just the ones that tell you what you want to hear. Read stuff from different perspectives, challenge your own assumptions.
And talk to people who disagree with you.
Ah,
Have those tough conversations.
exactly. And don't underestimate the power of personal stories. Hearing about how these issues affect real people can really change your perspective.
It makes it real,
Yeah,
you know? It
yeah,
reminds us that we're not just talking about abstract ideas. We're
yeah.
talking about people's lives.
Right. And then there are things you can do to get involved. You can volunteer with an organization that's working on these issues. You can donate money. You can spread the word.
Yeah, there are so many amazing groups out there doing great work. Find one that you connect with and jump in.
And of course, the most important thing is to vote. Make sure you're registered and then actually go out and vote for the people who represent your values.
Your vote is your voice. Don't waste it.
And remember, change takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. But every little thing we do, every conversation we have, every action we take, it all adds up.
So stay engaged, stay informed, stay passionate, and never forget that we're all connected.
Well, it's been great talking about all this with you today. It's been really thought-provoking.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot. And I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful now, too. Like maybe we can actually make a difference.
I think so, too. Thanks for joining us on this journey. It's been a good one.
And thanks to everyone out there for listening. Keep learning. Keep asking questions. Keep fighting for what you believe in. We're all in this together.